The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, Mr. AJ Applegarth. How's it going, man? He's cheering me.
It's good.
I guess you're cheering.
I'm cheering you.
Okay, I don't know. Hey, you don't say anything, so I'm just gonna make whatever assumption I want to.
Yeah.
So right now, Thursday night game, we got about a minute left in the first half. Ravens and Dolphins tied 3-3. Big shocker. Ravens are struggling in the first half like they always have this year, it feels like. So, I'm expecting 40 points in the second half from them because that's just what they do. Who knows? I don't know. I still don't get it. I've talked about it on multiple shows. I have no idea what is wrong with the Ravens in the first half of these games. And you have the squeakiest effing chair ever. What in the world happened? Stop it. This is worse than last week. You suck.
And
anyway,
by worse, you mean better.
On
every level.
I don't know about all that. All right, guys. So tonight we are going to be talking about OBJ signing, Odell Beckham, Cam Newton signing, get into this Eagles backfield mess and just what it means possibly when Miles Sanders returns. And then get into a fun game of start, bench, cut. And, we'll talk about a whole bunch of guys here that, questions constantly on Twitter about these guys. And so just kind of, figure out what we want to do with these guys moving forward and how much we trust them. Before we get on with it, though, I just want to remind everybody, hit that subscribe button, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, wherever you listen to us or watch us. We appreciate your support, and it goes a long way in helping us out. With that said, man, let's get to our beer of the week.
Beer.
So I'm going to go first because I like your beer, and I want you to go next and tied in with the other one. But so I'm doing a Commonwealth Brewing Lumos Citra Mosaic Galaxy Double IPA. This one is a 8.7%, I believe. It's up there.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. I gave it a 4 1/4 Untapped. I liked it a lot. Picked this one up on Sunday and had one Sunday night, and having the second one. So
Sweet. I am not having a Dippa tonight. I myself am going with the Nispillion River Brewing Reach Around IPA. It's cool because it's got a 3-toed sloth on it, and he's reaching around a tree. It has another sloth on it who does not seem to have toes, so I don't know where they went. But, there's some. Never mind. Also 3-toed.
Alrighty.
This one got over the weekend, I believe, as well. And it's pretty good. It's not it's not real heavy. This one's only a 6%, so we're starting it light.
Weak. Just kidding. No, that's cool. I've seen that one before. I have not picked it up yet. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I've seen it like a ton of times at the shop. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. So finally did, and it was good. It was good.
Cool. All right, what we got next, man?
Well, next we clearly have our Manscaped segment of the night. So obviously we've been talking about Manscaped a lot. Got the razor here, Lawnmower 4.0. Manscaped's dipping into a couple of new things here, though. I don't want to quite give too much away, but it's a little more along the lines of, maybe a body wash. maybe a shampoo.
Wonder what you're not giving.
Something
You're
along
terrible at
those
this.
lines. But yes, definitely is new stuff coming out. Be sure to get on board with this. Manscaped.com. We have our 20% off and free shipping promo code still in action right now. F6P20. That's F as in Frank, 6 as the number, P as in Paul, 20 for those of us.
It'll be in the comments in the show description as well if you missed it. So go ahead and check that one out. It's definitely worth it, guys. These are legit products, man. We've got a few of them already, and I'm enjoying all of them. So
my shirt here that I'm just covering everything. I can figure out. There's my boob. All right there, Manscaped. Got the plethora of stuff back here with the crop mop, ball wipes. You got your Shears 2.0, which is a very nice manicuring set, if you will. Nail cutters and the like. Go get the stuff. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I haven't had any pain. I haven't had any near I don't want to say near death experiences, but near death of certain things. My manhood. So that's been good.
No accidents. But yeah, so you alluded to it also. They have come out with the body wash. They have come out with the shampoo. Those are available. So those are good products, guys. Check those out as well. Just in time for the holidays. And there's more coming. Can't tell you yet, but there is more coming. Hopefully by next week we should be able to say something. But check out the web. Keep going back to the website and using that promo code, guys. It's all good stuff. All right, man. Let's jump into this to this show, and we got to lead with the big news of the week, and that is the Odell Beckham signing. So he signs with the Rams. There was big talk. It could have been the Patriots. It could have been the Chiefs. It could have been the Packers, which is where I thought he should have signed. But I guess the Packers weren't really interested, which, I mean, am I shocked? I guess not, because the Packers don't like receivers, apparently, outside of Devontae Adams. So, yeah, who knows? Not that I think Odell Beckham is awesome, but he's a clear upgrade over Lazard and, Randall Cobb and whatever else they've got over there. So, but anyway, he signs with the Rams. I want to get your thoughts on this, AJ, about, just what – let's look at it from, like, the players that are there currently. Of course, we've got Cooper Kupp. We've got Robert Woods. We've got Darrell Henderson. We've got Higbee. We've got Van Jefferson. Outside of Van Jefferson, I think he's the clear number one to just take a brutal, massive hit in his value. Outside of that, who do you think gets hurt the most in this offense?
It may sound weird, but maybe Matt Stafford. He's been on fire this year. The Rams offense has been, clicking on all cylinders, to be cliche about it. I think this will be good for Odell. I think he just was never a focus in Cleveland. I mean,
he's never going to be in LA, though.
No, I don't think he will be, but they brought him in. We already talked about how damn good their defense is now. And I mean, look, Odell's still talented. Yeah, he's a little older. He may have lost a step here and there, but you can't deny that the talent's there. He makes circus catches, and for seeing what happened to him from, the horrendous Giants to, the dog pound, it really wasn't that much of a move up in life, I guess, initially, but it was just a major downgrade for him. He went there. You figure, okay, well, his boy from college, Jarvis Landry, is here. He's going to take him under his wing for Cleveland and bring him along and show him the ropes, and they're going to be a dynamic receiving duo. And they weren't. They were nothing. I mean,
they were constantly hurt, and Baker's been inconsistent.
There was a lot of injury issues, with both of them really. And as you said, Baker's been hurt. Feel like Harrison Bryant's been more productive than OBJ in Cleveland.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, I see your point.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say this is clearly the best quarterback that Odell has played with. So he's got that going for him. I just think it's a bad fit, man. Like, he's not going to be the focal point of this offense, and that's where problems come with him. Like, when he's not just getting the ball, he runs his mouth and he gets himself in trouble, and he's kind of I kind of call him like a virus of the team. Like, he just brings bad vibes to the team. Hopefully, he just shuts his mouth and realizes, like, hey, I'm on a potential Super Bowl winner. I need to shut my damn mouth and just play football and do whatever these guys want me to do. Whether or not it leads to a payday for him in the offseason, that's where I don't know, and that's where I don't totally understand the fit. I mean, look, if he's chasing a ring, fine. This is a great place for him to go to do that, because I think they're clearly one of the favorites now. But if he wants to get that payday this year, because it's only the 1-year deal, then this wasn't the place for him. I mean, I think Woods is still going to be, super involved. Kupp is, I think, still the clear number one there. That is Stafford and him just have a connection that is undeniable. Woods, I think, is going to take a bit of a hit, big time here. And I also wonder if, like Darrell Henderson, some of the drop, the checkdowns to him don't get taken away by Odell, just being a viable third option. I mean, Van Jefferson was fine, but I don't think he's Odell. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to hurt. Nobody's going to have the value they had today in that offense, even Kupp to some degree, but Kupp I think is still the safest. Woods is who I'd be very worried about if I had him in fantasy. I wouldn't be so worried to trade him because he has been doing pretty well. I mean, he's been getting a ton of targets. Just hasn't scored, which is weird. But yeah, I mean, I think that's where we go with that. And look, I mean, I wouldn't be just all in on Odell at this point. I mean, I wrote down some interesting stats here with just some history of wide receivers being traded mid-season. Long story short, if we really want to just nip this in the bud, it doesn't work very often. I mean, in the last 20 years, Emmanuel Sanders going from the Broncos to the 49ers mildly worked. And Amari Cooper going from the Raiders to the Cowboys mildly worked. He had 2 massive games, one other good game in between those, and then a bunch of meh games. But people are going to look at the overall stats and say that worked, and obviously, in the long run, that's mainly been a good trade for the Cowboys. But mid-season, it's kind of whatever. Some fails that I wrote down, just 3 big ones. Golden Tate was oh my gosh, when he went to the Eagles. Damn, how bad was he with the Eagles? Demaryius Thomas going from the Broncos to the Texans, he didn't exist on that team. And then remember Roy Williams going from the Lions to the Cowboys? By the way, apparently you should never trade for a Lions receiver mid-season. The Lions are onto something. And Roy Williams was a complete nobody when he got traded to the Cowboys. And believe me, there are many, many, many more. So I'm not really buying the Odell trade here. I think it is just a guy who's going to, maybe make coverages shift a little bit, in that offense when they have all 3 of them on the field. But I'm not buying Odell just this is reviving his season right now. It just doesn't work. It's one thing for running backs to move teams, right? Hand the ball off, run up the middle, man. Hand the ball off, go to the right. I know you got to learn the holes in the system a little bit as a running back, but running backs feels easier to do, and we've seen it before. But receivers is hard because you got to have the timing with the quarterback and things like that. So
yeah, I agree with that too. It's very hard to pick up. I mean, maybe towards the end of that first season, there starts to be a chemistry, but if anything, I think this could be more of, like you said, a ploy to just kind of shift some coverages and free up, the guys that Stafford has connections with.
And there's no reason why, it's a great move for the Rams ultimately. Like if Odell can behave.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big if, honestly. The other signing news today, and sorry, Mike, I'm going to switch things order here for you, so keep you on your toes. Cam Newton signed with the Panthers. He's clearly not going to start this week. There's not enough time to get ready. And who knows, may not even start next week, but I would bet on that more than anything because P.J. Walker is not going to be the quarterback. Sam Darnold is out for multiple weeks here. So what do you think? Is this enough of and we'll get into this a little bit more, but is this enough of an upgrade in quarterback for you to be a little bit more excited about DJ Moore than what he's been doing the last few weeks?
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man.
I feel like DJ Moore is just not going to be that consistent player that we were talking about in the previews, which sucks because he's still a stud receiver, but we've seen what Cam does, when he's played recently, he just runs the ball, and that's kind of what he did in Carolina the first time. Granted, he had, some good receivers to throw to for a few years, but he was also a lot younger then too.
Yeah, he wants to run the ball. I wonder if this hurts Christian McCaffrey, especially like down the red zone. You get down in the 1-2 yard line, stuff like that. CMC is going to try to bust that one in instead of just checking it down to CMC or handing the ball off. That's really going to be the interesting thing here, especially if they want to try to keep CMC a little bit healthier. I think that could be something that they even want to do. But I mean, of course, they want to keep Cam healthy too, because PJ Walker is not the answer, guys. I think this is ultimately a good move for the Panthers. I think it is a good move for DJ Moore. I think this helps him over PJ Walker and possibly Arnold, but how much? I'm not sure it's enough. I'm not sure it's as much as we want it to be.
Yeah. So just
Cam Newton hasn't been good in years.
No, I mean injuries have slowed him down.
He's not accurate. Is part of the problem.
His accuracy's never really been great. But he's had some success, in the Belichick system. Granted, again, it was in the red zone, and that's where CMC's getting fed the ball, 9 times out of 8. So that goes away. Not all of it, but they're still trying to bring him back slowly but surely.
Slowly, yet he saw almost 20 touches last week. So yeah, how about that?
Exactly.
Go figure. Hey, we're gonna put him on a pitch count. 20 touches later.
Meanwhile, I traded him in.
This is why he's gonna get hurt
league.
again.
Yeah, I traded him in my home league for Cam Akers, straight up, because I can't keep him.
Cam Akers, though, man, with the Achilles, that one's.
Well, would you have? Yeah, but he's like a last round pick.
I mean, all right. It's just
it was either him.
Seen the history
or
of guys
Dobbins.
Dobbins, 100%.
Yeah,
You've seen guys trying to come back from Achilles injuries. It just doesn't work time and time again. More often than not, like a shockingly high number. More often than not, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on here to a topic probably closer to your heart here, and this is this Eagles backfield, and just look, I don't want to harp on this one too much, but look, we've obviously when Miles Sanders went down, we thought, okay, Kenny Gainwell is going to be a guy that you can trust a little bit more. He's at least going to get more work in the passing game, right? Boston Scott might be the lead back, the lead runner, and he kind of was that first game, and he started out that way in the second game. But here comes the ghost of Jordan Howard, just busting through and looking like the guy from 6 years ago. what in the hell is happening? Like, they are running the ball more than they ever have in the last 2 years, it feels like. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know if we care as much about like what's going to go on right now, but I want to ask you this question. What happens when Miles Sanders comes back? What do you think they're going to do?
Knowing the Eagles, probably trade him.
Like, do they
honestly, I don't.
Do they decide, hey, we're going to still run?
I love Miles Sanders, and
Right.
I love his playmaking ability when he's healthy and getting touches. And I think the more touches he gets, the better he is. But they just have not run the ball at all this entire year, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, I guess we'll have to run the ball. And now that Miles is down, let's bring back this old hat, named Howard, and see what he can do. And Scott's decent, and he really excelled a few years ago coming in and when Sanders was injured, but he played so well that they kept him going, but he was more of a passing down back, and they let Miles do the heavy lifting in the in the trenches and running the ball. I mean, I don't know what the hell to make of Jordan Howard. It's very odd to me, and maybe this is likely short-lived because it's Jordan Howard, and he's going to be tired in another game. So but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing here is Gainwell. Like, I think he's getting knocked down like multiple pegs after actually being productive
Right.
earlier in the season. Like, they were using him more than Miles Sanders, it seemed like, and not seemed like it was.
Right.
But
and that's where I get it. Like, I don't understand. And so, like, I kind of wonder, like, when Miles Sanders comes back, do they give him as much rushing work as they're giving Jordan Howard right now? Or does it go back to, we now don't want to be a running team because Miles Sanders is supposed to be our lead back? Like, it's just mind-boggling what this team does. And two different coaching staffs have done it to him. I don't get it.
I don't either.
It's so crazy. I don't know, man. It's just one of those, like, I kind of just don't want anything to do with this backfield. Like, I guess maybe this week, fine, throw in some Jordan Howard and a flex. If you're dealing with some injuries, maybe you're RB2 if you're desperate. Like, it's probably going to work because it just seems like it's going to work. It's just weird. And then, maybe Boston Scott if you're, like, super desperate. And then I'm not touching Gainwell. He's barely getting any work. It's
no, I own him. I have him on a couple of rosters, and I started him the 1 week and got completely burned.
Right. I mean,
and I don't think I have yet since, because
that first week the Sanders was out,
now
everybody was like, "Oh, you gotta start Gainwell." And yeah, he got 13 carries, but it was super late in the game, garbage time, and didn't do anything with it. And then the next week saw 2 rushes, 0 targets in both of those games when he went from 8 the week before. Both of those games, like, unbelievable, like what they are doing.
The most baffling thing to me is that Sanders can handle running, and he can handle the passing game.
He can handle all of it.
He's got all around, ability and talent. They don't run him and give Gainwell more, more shares of the rushing, I guess, in a sense, and then more targets, really. And he starts doing okay, but now they're like, oh, well, all right, let's just try to feed Sanders the ball. He gets injured. And now it's like, all right, well, Gainwell who? Like, Sanders is going to come back, and they're just going to stop running the ball again.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Makes no sense.
I don't know.
Makes zero
I would not
sense.
be surprised at all to see the coach gone after this year. Like, I just don't think this is working. And I don't know if it's just, obviously a first-year coach is in a bad spot in general, coming in to try to make things work. But you've seen some that have had good success and others that just fail miserably. And I just think I'd almost rather have Doug Peterson back than this. I mean,
I don't know about all that,
dude, he won a Super Bowl. So what has this guy done? Not even run a ball until he finally decides, oh, yeah, we have running backs. Let's try to use them. And then they get injured because you haven't run them in every freaking game, jackass.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Man.
I'm
It's
done.
so weird.
I don't want to keep harping on this.
All right. Well, let's jump into our game of start, bench, cut. So what we're going to do here is we're going to run through a list of players here, and we're both going to say whether or not we would start them or keep starting them, I guess, or if we would bench them, or if we would just flat out cut them. So we got a mix of players, some who are highly owned, highly rostered, who you probably drafted and you're still hanging on to, wondering what to do, and they're underperforming big time. Guys who you might have picked off the waiver wire who, roles are starting to change with guys coming back from injury, or guys who, are starting to have their stock rise, and, you're kind of wondering, do I need to pick them up? And if I do, or they've already been picked up, do I just plug them in my lineup? So first one here, AJ, I want to ask you, Mr. Mikey Davis. Oh boy. Talk about a bad season, and I don't know how many shares I have of him. It's not good, and it has sunk most of those teams.
Yeah.
Mr. Patterson over there taking over and has been incredible, which I never thought I would say. But Mike Davis, still getting a decent amount of workload. 9 carries. Saw 6 targets a couple weeks ago. Still getting work, just not productive. Being severely outplayed by Patterson, obviously. What do you want to do with this guy? Think about just the terrible landscape of the running back position right now. Anyway, do you just flat out cut this guy?
Yeah, I would have cut him 3 weeks ago. But he now with all of the injuries, I might be scrambling to try to go pick him back up. A lot of my teams are very hurt in the running back department.
Yeah.
So if that's your situation, I would bench him, and not make just the knee-jerk decision to just all out cut him yet. But he's not consistent enough to be a starter right now. This is a pass first offense in general. And, it's just Mike Davis is like the Fitzpatrick of running backs, I feel like.
I don't know. Yeah, in the leagues I do have Mike Davis. I have held on to him. Sadly, I've had to start him more weeks than I want to because of injuries and bye weeks and just the lack of depth at the running back position. So I have held on to him for that reason. Like, if I had a good team, he'd probably be gone a long time ago. But I don't in those leagues. Partially thanks to him. Because I drafted him thinking he was the guy. If he could have given me at least 2/3 of what he did in Carolina, there was phenomenal draft value where I got him. But it didn't work out that way. So, that being said, it's just, he's on that border of cut line. Depends on your team roster. If you just need the running back, then I have no problems hanging on to him. Because, Patterson could get hurt next week, right? And then Mike Davis is, he probably not going to do what Patterson's doing, but he's going to do a lot better, so he's going to see a lot more work.
He'll have value at that point.
He'll have a lot more. So I'm okay holding him if you're in a deeper league and you obviously need running back depth. Moving on here to a couple more running backs, and they're kind of in the same boat here. Khalil, Herbert, and Alex Collins. So obviously Herbert is dealing with a David Montgomery return and didn't see a whole lot of work last week, which I kind of thought he would see a lot more, but just didn't.
was
and then
invisible last week. And
it was kind of crazy. Like I thought for sure they would like
Get
slow
it,
play to David Montgomery
but-
back in, but yeah, it was. He didn't get any work in the passing game. I thought like at most he would, or at least right. I guess at least I should say he would have seen like what Tariq Cohen was getting, a couple years ago, right? Because he can play that role, not as well as Cohen, but he could. But David Montgomery just out-touched him phenomenally. What was it? I'm looking at 13 attempts to 4. It was just like, oh, okay, bye Herbert, I suppose. And then Alex Collins. So Alex Collins is kind of just fading away, I feel like. Hasn't really done a whole lot. Even with the injury to Carson. And Carson's kind of, really close to coming back and possibly going to return this week. So what do you want to do with both of these guys? You hanging on to them, or are you just ready to cut bait?
Herbert, I'm going to hang on to and just bench until I start seeing some more signs of life, or more of a split timeshare, if you will, or at least him getting involved in the passing game.
But I mean, what if he doesn't? Like, say this week is the same as last week, and I think I'm ready to be like, peace.
Yeah, if this week is more of what last week was, I'd probably be very, very close to pulling the trigger, if not just doing it. Collins, I would be cutting too. I just, he's never really done much to move my needle, if you will. So, and that offense in general with Geno is not the same by any means.
Well, Russ Wilson should be coming back.
He should
in the next week or two, I believe. So it could be different. But I mean, Collins is coming back too.
Yeah, at the same time, you're he's going to be phased back out. And there's so many other running backs there that they have with Penny and DJ Dallas and Travis Homer. Obviously, Collins seems to have fared well, or better than them. But
nothing that you're going to be like. I don't even think he's much of a depth piece.
I think
honestly.
all of those guys are the same, though. They're just, there's some spurts here and there, but they're not like consistent enough to want to actually start every week.
Right.
So that's my thoughts on those two. But yeah, let's jump into some receivers, and one of my favorite topics here, the G-men. You got
what's up, Keith?
Kadarius, Toney. You've got Kenny Golladay, and Shepard. I don't even think I have to describe anything of what I would do here because it's probably already known. So what's your take on these three?
Yeah, so and I'm honestly I'm holding Shepard. I know he's in the IR right now, and so that I think you would need an IR spot to hold him in most leagues, but I think most do have IR spots now. All of mine do, especially with COVID still hanging around. Yeah. I'm holding Shepard. I think he still sees too much target share in that offense. Daniel Jones and him seem to like each other enough to. He's not going to score the touchdowns, but he's a safe floor guy. He's a good wide receiver 3 type play. I like him. Kenny Golladay is sort of an unknown. He's been injured all year, it feels like. And so, I know he's played a handful of games, but, he just feels like he hasn't been healthy even in some of those games. Like, he's always been questionable or whatever. I kind of want to see what he can do. We know when this guy is healthy, he can be a monster on the field. Whether or not Daniel Jones can make that happen, we don't know, and I kind of doubt it will, but I still think he's sort of a hold if you have him, just to see what he can do. Kadarius Toney is one, and I think I'm going to shock a lot of people. I'm good cutting him. Look, he had that monster week 5 against Dallas, right? That was with 0 other healthy receivers on that team, it felt like.
Yeah.
We had Slayton out. We had Shepard out. We had Golladay out. Nobody was healthy on that team, right? And he just blew up. Ever since then, man, it's been very pedestrian. Yep. And possibly worse. And last week was like bottom of the barrel. 1 target for 9 yards against the Raiders. And yeah, I mean, the Raiders are decent, but come on, you got to be able to do more than that. As the number 2 receiver on that team behind Golladay last week, because Shepard and Slayton were still both out. So, with these guys healthy, Toney's just not going to get the workload, in my opinion. So I'm fine cutting him.
Yeah, I mean, he was very giant-like, we'll say. So moving on, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
You got Counting Crows with Mr. Jones. You got Simon and Garfunkel. Actually, it might just be Paul Simon. Julio down by the schoolyard. I mean, what are you doing with him? He's showing some signs of life.
He's not. He's not.
No.
I don't know. He's a total shell of himself. Look, I've got him in 1 league, and my receivers behind him are either the good receivers are either hurt or just on bye or just probably not really any better than Julio. So I've just kind of held on to him. Once some guys get healthy, he might be cuttable. Honestly, man, I know. Look, this is a low passing offense in general, and maybe it's going to get a little bit better without Derrick Henry. But that also just means there's going to be more focus on the receivers. We talked about that with Derrick Henry going out last week. It's like there's going to be more focus on these receivers, and I don't know if Tannehill can really make that happen. He did rely a lot on play action pass, a lot of focus on Henry, and just passing over top of the defense. Look, he did okay last week against a very, very tough Rams defense. Ended up winning the game. Didn't have to do a whole lot, thanks to that phenomenal defense performance last week. But back to Julio, I mean, he's borderline for me. Maybe you want to wait 1 more week to see if he can stay healthy and just get more into a rhythm, because he's been banged up all year long. He had the 1 good game against Seattle in week 2, and then it was just he got hurt in week 3, came out of the game, came back in week 6, wasn't really himself. Week 7, still the same thing, but he keeps coming on and off the field in these games. Last week, wasn't much better. Maybe you give him another week, maybe 2 at most, to see if he can get into a rhythm with Tannehill and stay healthy, and maybe just get some more conditioning under him. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he's just fallen off a cliff this bad. But that's his name. That could be just name brand bias at this point too.
I definitely think that there's going to be some name bias with him. There's plenty of people that have that diehard love for Julio because of what he's done for them in the past with a different team, with a different quarterback, with a different running game. As in, there really wasn't one. There was this entire year until now, and because that's gone, I agree that Tannehill's going to have to kind of break out of his typical mold a little bit, and his efficiency has always been there, but that's because he's had less activity, I feel like, in the passing game, less attempts that he's had to make because Henry's been so good.
Absolutely.
So I
I'll say this: the running game wasn't horrible last week. It was a 3-headed monster, but it was pretty decent last week against a very very good Rams front seven here. So, real quick before you jump into the next player, though, I do want to say that Tua is in the game for Brissett, who went down with an injury, and of course Tua's dealing with that fractured finger. So this will be very interesting to see how he's going to perform. I know he wasn't inactive, obviously, for the game. He was always set as the backup, but then we'll see if he can really, throw this ball well. The last pass wasn't good, but
that last pass was not.
So
the one before it was pretty nice, but I just think with Julio, I'm not cutting bait yet. I will be one of those name brand type people that would hold him for at least another week or two to see how this offense kind of takes shape.
Right.
And then go with that. So next guy, we kind of already touched on DJ Moore. Quick take.
Quick take is I am holding, and in 3 receiver leagues, I am starting. I think in most cases, you've probably got 2 receivers that are better than him at this point, especially this week with PJ Walker in there. I definitely want to hold to see what happens when Cam Newton comes in there, because I do think it is a massive upgrade from PJ Walker. And I think if anything, they are just going to tell Cam Newton, you get the ball to Christian McCaffrey and you get the ball to DJ Moore and shut the hell up. And that's pretty much it. Just get our playmakers the ball. And who knows, maybe Robbie Anderson has a resurgence.
He's going to hear that, and then all of a sudden Robbie Anderson is going to be huge for Carolina.
I don't know. Robbie Anderson
after everybody has probably already cut him.
Robbie Anderson actually just needs to freaking catch the ball. It is abysmal what he has done this year. Not good.
Yeah.
That's my quick take on him.
All right, so another quick take. Same name, different first name, but also a J in there. Elijah Moore. Are you marrying him, killing him, or having his baby? I'm sorry, starting, benching, or cutting.
Right.
Wrong game. Wrong game.
Right. Glad you got the reference. Anyway, I really liked this guy coming out of college. I traded 2 second-round picks to move up to the beginning of the second round to get him in my dynasty rookie draft. Paired him with his running mate there, Michael Carter. So I've got both of those guys. I cannot believe, after I did it, I was like, I cannot believe I just drafted 2 Jets back to back. But hey,
just do.
But hey, these guys are talented.
Well, at least they're not Giants.
Keith, I really hope you're listening to this. Every week, man, it never fails. I love it. Anyway,
we preach about consistency. How often? So
we would get a very positive consistency score from Bob Long.
The consistency rating on our take, mostly mine, on the Giants is huge.
100% score. Anyway, Elijah Moore. No, I like this guy's talent coming out of college big time. It's why I moved up for him. Unfortunately plays for the Jets, and Zach Wilson was awful to start this season. Shockingly, Mike White has come in and has turned his passing offense around. So yeah, I like him but he's gonna start this week. So as long as Mike White is in there, and look, even Josh Johnson was better than Zach Wilson, which was like, what?
Josh Johnson had a
Come on,
week last week, and it's like, wait, where the hell have you been?
Right. By the way, I want to know, what the hell did the Jets trade for Joe Flacco for? They traded the draft pick for Joe Flacco, and they So the backup to Zach.
The team?
Yes, Zach Wilson's backup gets hurt last game. So you think, oh, okay, here comes Joe Flacco. Nope. In comes Josh Johnson. So they just traded for a fourth string quarterback is what they did. Jets, you're going to jet. Come on, man. Stop it.
Hey, they took him from the Eagles, so I'm cool with it.
Oh, my gosh. That was
Thank you
like
for the draft pick that we will likely trade for a worse player that will do nothing for us.
Maybe you'll trade him for another running back that you'll misuse. So, yeah, anyway, Elijah Moore, I like him. Clearly he was a big waiver wire target this week. I think he's startable. Well, so this week's tough because they are playing the Bills. I did forget about that. This week's tough, guys.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to have a terrible game this week along with the entire Jets football team. Do not cut this guy. He's too good. Don't panic with Michael Carter. And nobody does well against the Jets this year, against the Bills this year. Just don't panic. But starting Moore this week is going to be tough. I do have him in like the low 40s in my rankings for receivers at half PPR. So he's not a startable asset this week. But I think going forward, I think he absolutely can be. So I do like him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, more I would be holding on to, definitely. Next guy we got here is Michael Get Up and Gallup and Go. Dallas. I mean, he's had some decent outings this year, way better than last year.
One half of an outing.
Yeah. Still better than last year. I mean, this offense is really Dak, Zeke, and Lamb, and Cooper, really, too, which I hate to say.
Right.
I mean, I feel like Cedric Wilson's had better.
He's had some good games
than Gallup has.
Well, I mean, look, Gallup's been hurt, and so he's coming back this week. Gallup's easily going to take over that number 3 spot. Will it happen immediately week 1? Is he going to be full throttle week 1? Probably the first week back. Probably not. But look, I like Gallup. I think he's a sneaky player that you could probably grab from somebody if they've been stashing him in the IR or something like that. Like, hey, I'll take the third receiver for the Cowboys. Like, this is a phenomenal offense. Last week, be damned. Like, that's just a weird week. I don't know what this week 9. Like, that's all I gotta say, man. Week 9 was week 9. I just don't even want. I don't want to
score more than 32 points.
I saw that, man. Whew, that was incredible.
It was. I'm very proud of myself for that. Actually, like, holy shit.
Look, the one thing I'll say about Gallup, right, is last year, right, he still saw 105 targets in this offense. Third on the team behind Lamb. He didn't bring down a bunch of them, only 59, but his air yards, man, were 1,248. He was like one of the top air yard players in the NFL last year. So like he is a guy who Dak is going to trust. Now Lamb has taken another step this year, so maybe you reduce that a little bit, and that's why his draft capital this year was what it was. You get him fairly cheap, although at the very end it started climbing because people started realizing like, hey, this dude's like almost dirt cheap in drafts, so like we shouldn't let this happen anymore. And unfortunately he got hurt. So I really like Gallup, and I'm fine plugging him in as like a wide receiver 3, especially like a flex play this week if you've got him stashed on your team.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Trying to figure out where I've got him ranked right now.
It's still a high-powered offense.
Absolutely.
He's going to get the targets, so I agree with that call.
Yeah, I mean, I've got him at number 40, so that's like flex range, right?
Yeah.
And look, they are playing Atlanta, so like it can be good. So, all right, man. I think we probably should speed this up a little bit. You got like 1 or 2 more here you want to ask me about?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go with let's dip into the tight end realm here with some Dan Arnold and Pat Freiermuth.
Freiermuth.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these guys,
Sugar
in my opinion, man, almost Freiermuth is easily startable.
God bless you.
Like, I no idea why he's not rostered more. I think I looked it up, and he was like 50% rostered on Yahoo, but only like 30% rostered on ESPN. It was like, what? This guy's been a monster. And by the way, this week, the Steelers are obviously without Juju, and they're probably going to be without Claypool. So guess what? It's Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, and Pat Freiermuth. Yep, there you go, guys. And then Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold's sneaky good. He is seeing an enormous target share for the Jaguars. And yeah, look, I get it. It's the Jags, man. Like, it's nothing to get excited about. But you know, you're looking at tight ends, right? There's nothing sexy about the tight end
nothing
position.
to get tight.
Like even Kelsey's not killing it this year. Waller's not killing it this year.
Some injury. Wow.
But I mean, look at the target share the last 2 weeks for Darren Arnold. 10 and 7. He caught 8 for 68 and 4 for 60. That's pretty much tight end one. That's tight end one in PPR, guys.
Almost.
He just hasn't
almost Gronk-esque.
He just hasn't scored a touchdown. That's it. I mean, look, we always knew this guy had talent. He was underutilized on other teams. So I really like Dan Arnold, and dude, he 100% needs to be rostered in more leagues. I think I saw somebody post that he was only rostered in like 12% of leagues right now. It's like, that's criminal. Like, he needs to be more. All right, rapid fire here, man. No analysis. Just give me your answer. Tyler Boyd.
Bench.
Devontae Parker.
Oof. Cut.
Ooh. Rondale Moore.
Cut.
Yep. Curtis Samuel. He's a guy you can possibly pick up.
Maybe bench.
I think it's a cut for me. Sony Michel.
Cut. I already did.
Corey Davis is coming back from injury this week.
Corey Davis, I'm starting.
And your boy, Jordan Howard.
Start. I would
this week at least. This week at least.
I would start him this week, just because it sounds like now it's going to be a Gainwell week. So I'll start Jordan Howard.
Of course,
Gainwell is going to show up and be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy."
Yeah. Pretty much.
See you, Howard.
All right, man. Let's rip through these injuries here. So we got quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, ankle, anticipates to play this week after missing last week. We got, obviously, Sam Darnold out 4 weeks with that fractured right scapula. And they, of course, signed Cam Newton, so look for him to start probably next week. Baker Mayfield probably going to play after dealing with multiple injuries this year. Aaron Rodgers is still on COVID. He came out and said there's a small chance he still doesn't get cleared, but sounds like he could get cleared by Sunday or Saturday. I mean, so just something to keep an eye on. Obviously, beer. If Jordan Love plays, I mean, the entire offense just is pretty much unusable at this point. It was so bad last week. Trevor Lawrence, ankle, limited practice, probably going to play. And then Matt Stafford, questionable with a sprained ankle as well. But I'm not seeing anything that he's not going to play. Yeah. Running backs, Chase Edmonds is out with a high ankle sprain, going to miss at least 3 or 4 weeks. What's your take on Eno Benjamin?
I snagged him in a handful of leagues.
I put way too much money on him in our league. Like $230 out of our $1,000 fab because you guys are overpaying for everybody. I missed everybody by like $30, and I put like so much money on guys. I just keep missing. You guys suck.
I don't even
so of course I overpay by like $200 this week on Eno Benjamin.
I don't even know if I've spent any of my fab in our league. I might still have like $900
because everybody keeps overpaying for people.
Yeah. But no, I like Benjamin. I actually had him. I drafted him in a dynasty league in the rookie draft because I liked the upside. He was the third back, and that was it. Arizona had 3 running backs at the time, and it was like, all right. I mean, shit's gonna happen. He's gonna eventually play,
right?
And here we are. So I don't know if I'm plugging him in this week.
Yeah, I kind of want to wait and see how they're going to use him, honestly.
But, I mean, maybe next week.
Yeah. So Zeke is questionable with a knee, limited practice yesterday. Zach Moss is questionable with concussion. He had a limited practice today. So, I mean, at least he's leaning in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, but he's still got to get cleared. Nick Chubb he's on the COVID IR. There's a possibility that he could get cleared this week, but he's got to get those 2 negative tests. It sounds like he is vaccinated, so I guess that's good for him. But if not, man, fire up those.
Or is he Aaron Rodgers?
Shut up! I don't want to go there. Sounds like if Chubb does miss. Fire up those Dearness Johnson shares. Don't expect what happened a couple of weeks ago, but expect at least RB2.
Expect better than what happened last week.
Well, of course, Nick Chubb was healthy.
Yeah,
what do you expect?
Exactly my point.
James Robinson, who was held out last week, is practicing this week with that heel injury. So it sounds like he's going to play. CEH on the IR. He's looking good in practice. He's on the eligibility to return IR. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets activated this week. So something to keep an eye on there. Darrell Williams owners for sure. Damian Harris is in the concussion protocol. Did not practice. His running mate Stevenson also same thing. Alvin Kamara popped up on the injury list this week. Did not practice today with a knee injury, so trending in the wrong direction there, guys. That's bad. Saquon Barkley, questionable with an ankle. Limited practice on Tuesday.
I'll just leave him here because he's a Giant.
I don't know why that update is only from Tuesday. Mike, you got to text me on this one. Is that the last one we've got there? Anyway, Tevin Coleman. I don't know if we really care. Devonta Booker. Apparently, it is the last update we have from Saquon. So that's all we got, guys. Sorry, just keep an eye on that one. Devonta Booker, questionable hip injury in the game against the Raiders. And then Najee Harris, questionable with the foot, limited practice, so probably going to play. And then Antonio Gibson, still dealing with that shin, so limited practice, probably going to play, but I'm not loving it, guys.
Yeah. So receivers, we got D-Hop, questionable. He did not practice on Wednesday, dealing with that hamstring still. Amari Cooper, also questionable with a limited practice on Wednesday with hamstring. Cole Beasley, questionable with ribs. He did not practice Wednesday. Jarvis Landry, questionable with a knee. Full practice today, Thursday, so he's trending in the right direction. Michael Gallup, we already talked about, was a full practice yesterday.
Yeah.
He is expected to play this week, but he still has that questionable tag. Tim Patrick, questionable with a knee. He DNP Wednesday. Excuse me, that was terrible. That wasn't even worth burping. AJ Green is questionable with an illness. Limited practice today. That could mean 3,000 things at this point. T.Y. Hilton, questionable with a concussion. I'm shocked to have to say T.Y. Hilton's name in an injury thing. Limited practice on Wednesday. Rondale Moore, my cut candidate, is questionable with concussion and neck issues. He did not practice today. Trending down. Hunter Renfrow, questionable with an ankle, limited practice Wednesday. Keenan Allen, questionable, did not practice Wednesday with a knee injury. Sterling Shepard, we talked about earlier. Suck it Giants, questionable quads, DNP Thursday. Corey Davis, questionable hip, full practice Wednesday. Trending in the right direction for the better New York team. Chase Claypool, we already talked about. He is questionable with a toe. He did not practice Thursday.
That one sounds like he's going to miss some time, honestly.
He is likely out this week and possibly, a little bit longer. But Antonio Brown's questionable with an ankle. He did not practice Thursday. I'm sure he'll be good to go because Tom Brady will do things. Chris Godwin, also questionable with a foot. He did not practice Thursday, so it sounds like it was just a guy's night out in Tampa. Julio is
they host an
with a
event?
hamstring.
Oh wait,
I don't know. Maybe
that was an Aaron Rodgers grab. That
Gronk rented a yacht somewhere, and I don't know. They relived the touchdown or the Super Bowl parade. Dawson Knox is questionable with a hand. He is limited practice Wednesday, but he was on the IR. He is actually off the IR, at least on Sleeper. So I think he is trending in the right direction.
Yep.
Gronk also questionable with a back. Shocker, DNP Thursday must just be a maintenance day for Thirsty Thursday in Tampa. And defensively, you got Myles Garrett dealing with foot injury. He is questionable for the Dogs.
So before we jump into our DFS picks of the week, we have a question. I traded OBJ and Kareem Hunt for Dalvin Cook. Did I win? Due to my league panicked because of the news for Dalvin Cook. Obviously, just really didn't want to get into it, but yes, news of the week is all the abuse allegations for Dalvin Cook. You know, is it against him? Is it? I don't even know. I don't even want to get into it. It's confusing to say the least. And because it's confusing, I think you won this trade because I don't think the NFL is going to be able to do anything in the last 6 games of the season. I mean, let's be honest. They haven't been able to decide what to do with Deshaun Watson. Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
You think they're really going to make a decision on Dalvin Cook despite possible evidence of him actually hitting this woman? But it could have been self-defense. Who knows? We have no idea. There's so many stories going back and forth. It feels like we have no idea. I absolutely think you smash won this trade, man. It is this is a great one for you because I don't think OBJ is going to be much of anything, as we mentioned earlier in the show, after trading mid-season. And Kareem Hunt's fine. But he's no more than an RB2 when both him and Chubb are healthy. You know, he's going to have some RB1 weeks when they both just blow up. But, you know, for the most part, he's an RB2. Dalvin Cook is a clear RB1, a top 5 guy most weeks, at least in the rankings. And he's not always going to finish that way, but that's a slam dunk trade for you. I love it. Good job for you, man. So yeah, let's get into the DraftKings picks of the week for me and you. And I'm starting here with the Cowboys and a bounce back week here for them. And their salaries are pretty low in my opinion. They're going against this Atlanta team who, you know, it's going to be a shootout in my opinion. And so we've got Dak, Lamb, and or Cooper. 6,900 for Dak. We got 7,000 for Lamb and 6,200 for Cooper. And dude, if you really, I'm just gonna pull this one out now because value, if you want to stack it, 4,000 for Gallup. You could like value stack it if you want. That's a phenomenal stack there for me. Like Atlanta is abysmal on defense, so yeah.
That's going to be I feel like that's going to be a popular game. Lots of ownership on those guys.
Probably.
Rightfully so. But that's going to be like the bread and butter of your 50-50s. Just go for it. All of them.
Maybe. However, we've also got Herbert and Keenan Allen, 7,300 and 7,000 against Minnesota, who is arguably worse against the pass. So that is a good one. There are lots of good stacks this week, honestly. I only picked 4. We've got Tom Brady and Mike Evans. I left off the other 2 only because we don't know if AB is coming back, and I doubt he is. And Godwin is hurt. But going against Washington, who is probably the worst defense in the league this year, or one of them, at least fantasy-wise.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. It really makes no sense. It really doesn't, man.
Was pretty actually excited to have them in one league. Like, okay.
Oh, they were
this was my sleeper pick, and they were just hanging there, and it was like
over on RT Sports where I did a few best balls. Shout out to them. One of our partners for Fantasy Six Pack. They I did some best ball leagues over there, and they do kickers and defenses. And I snagged, Tampa and Washington. I snagged Seattle and Washington. And it was just like, what happened? Both defenses blow.
Total bust.
Like,
At least
both
the Tampa
defenses
Washington, you're like, I made out
right?
of
But like, who would have ever guessed? Like, that's why defenses are so crazy. That's why we draft them in the last round in most leagues. So yeah, anyway, Brady and Evans, or if Godwin's healthy, you can go with him. I think all those guys are in play if you want there. And then Rodgers and Adams. Obviously, this is a more expensive stack, 7,100 and 7,900 against Seattle, but Seattle's secondary is bad. So Rodgers and Adams are going to have a heyday if Rodgers is healthy. So obviously
I'm not sick.
Yeah, this is an obvious fade to the entire Packers offense if Love has to play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Najee, 7,900. It's Detroit.
yeah,
I don't care if he is listed as out currently. I'm still buying him and starting him because he'll play. And it's Detroit. I mean, they're like, what, one, maybe two steps above the Giants? So
yeah, you're plugging in Harris here, especially without Claypool, and obviously no Juju. So
Juju.
Harris is gonna get a lot of work in that passing game if they even have to pass the ball. Like they may not.
I mean, they might not need to. I mean, but they'll just have like 80 carries. So
correct.
Jonathan Taylor, you're not buying him now at this point.
I mean, it's not the best of matchups, but I mean, how do you not play him?
Still, he's too good. And right there with him is Pittman, 7,300. Okay,
I mean,
fine.
it's Jacksonville. I mean, but honestly, like the running defense for Jacksonville hasn't been like atrocious. So like he's expensive, and it's not like there's better matchups that are cheaper, but Jonathan Taylor's such a beast, man. He's basically like the new Derrick Henry. Like you just see him at the top of the list, you're like, yeah, click. I'm just gonna plug him in my 50-50s.
Yeah, it's like the first thing. It's like I don't even want to pick a quarterback yet because I know I'm taking him. All right,
pretty much.
You are my lead person.
Some of the fades here that I wrote down is I'm fading CMC and DJ Moore against Arizona. Pretty tough defense here. CMC he just vaulted into the top of the running back price range here, 8,400, and I'm just like, what? It's 1 week, guys. Like, relax. And now you've got PJ Walker there. Like, we've no idea.
When he was still injured, or two weeks ago when he was still injured, he was probably like $9,000, and they're like, all right, I guess we can finally knock this guy down.
Yeah,
he hasn't played in weeks.
It's a little bizarre that he vaulted up that high, especially against Arizona, and with the news that Darnold's out. Not that Darnold's awesome, but Darnold is better than PJ Walker, guys. I'm sorry, he just is. DJ Moore is a guy, even at 6,300, I want nothing to do with until Cam comes back and until Cam actually starts. No. I mentioned it before. We're not playing the Jets. They're playing the Bills. Nope. Not doing it. I don't care. They could be cheap. Not doing it. It's not going to work. The Bills have shot
Buffalo
everybody.
Did lose last week. Can I remind you of that?
They lost 6-9. It's not like their defense was bad. Their offense couldn't do anything. Their defense is still top notch.
Lost to the ultimate Gronk football scorer of all time.
Right. That doesn't matter when it comes to your offensive fantasy production against this defense. It just doesn't work.
But
no buts. Shut up. Moving on. Antonio Gibson, 5,500 against Tampa. I know you can do damage against Tampa, but Antonio Gibson is just not 100%. They're not going to use him enough. Even at 5,500, I still just can't do it. There's better options, and we'll get into those with the values. And then Mike Williams. I was all in on Mike Williams to start the year. He started trailing off. Thankfully, traded him to our boy Keenan in my Dynasty League for a first-round pick. Thanks, Keenan. My rebuilding team
and the league Keenan clearly doesn't care about.
He's third place.
What?
Yes, that's why he traded me. He thought he was getting a top guy. They changed how they're using Mike Williams within the first 8 weeks of the season, and it's not working. So unless they go back to
we thought you'd be injured by now, so we didn't know what to do.
unless they go back to using him and giving him the full route tree again, I don't want anything to do with Mike Williams, even against Minnesota. It's just not working right now. And that's why my stack for that game is only including Keenan Allen. So, there you go.
All right, so some value plays we got here. We already talked about D'Ernest Johnson. Chubb's likely out this week with the COVID issues.
That's a slam dunk play. I think everybody's going to play him at 4,700.
Yeah, that is kind of a smash play almost.
Yeah.
Russell Gage versus Dallas, $5,000. Okay, that's also a smash.
The only thing I would worry about Gage is if why am I blanking on
Tajay Sharp?
No. The who's the good corner for Dallas?
Oh,
who gets all the intercept? I'm just totally blanking on his name right now. But I will say this though, he can intercept the ball a lot, but he is letting up a lot of yards and a lot of receptions too. So he could Gage. It's clearly
Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs. Thank
you.
Yes. He is letting up a lot of yards and a lot of receptions, but I mean, Gage at 5,000 as the number one
still a good play,
is a good value there.
Tajay Sharp, you had your game. You're gone.
You don't want any Zacchaeus? He scored twice last week. No,
that fucking
we're
me
good.
Off, too.
Piss everybody off.
Yeah. No. Oh, damn.
Ooh.
Wow.
Man, that was an amazing play.
That was good.
Holy cow, I thought he was going to catch that.
I look like fucking Ladarius.
If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, there's a second and goal play. Tua just tosses it right over the middle, and the linebacker, who is that?
Queen?
Who was? I don't even know who that is.
No.
He just leaps up in the middle of the field and just almost steals this ball midair one-handed. That was awesome looking. Anyway, moving on. My guy Michael Gallup here, 4,000 against Atlanta. We already mentioned him. So, and then Freiermuth, 3,900. Like apparently DraftKings hasn't caught on either of these tight ends because Dan Arnold is 3,500. So yeah, I will be playing them heavily in my DraftKings lineups. And then Jordan Howard only 4,900 against Denver. I mean, why not? if you don't want to use D'Ernest Johnson, like if Chubb randomly plays, then fine. I'll use Jordan Howard to save some value there. And if you don't like them, got more value here. Javonte Williams and Mel Gordon against Philly, who just gets destroyed on the ground for 5,000 and 5,300. So there's a lot of value
there's my
plays.
3 running backs right there.
There's a lot of good
and my
value.
Flex play.
Yeah, there's a lot of good value to be had in the running back position here this week. It's kind of crazy.
That's what I'm looking at. Like these types of value plays where you have this much, really high potential value picks that lets you go after that Brady Evans, that entire Dallas offense stack. Everything that we've talked about here. Sorry for the yawning. It's not the beer, but it's probably the beer. I mean that's how you build this team. You throw it in there and put it in the lineup, and you don't have to get super cute with it because you're good with your money, you're good with your salary. I mean, shit, you could have $6,000 left over and still cash out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's all we got for the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Remind everybody, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel below us, whatever direction it's in on the station. I don't even know. I'm just gonna point in directions here, AJ. Manscaped F6P20 is our promo code for 20% off and free shipping. And they got some new products to check out, so hit those up.
Yep.
And good luck in week 10. We're at a 6-3 ball game here, and possibly. Oh my goodness!
You douche!
I think he scored. No way! They did not count that. I thought that ball hit the goal line. They're gonna review this for sure. That ball
like,
hit the ground, and that lineman's hurt. He hit hard.
He's like,
Oh, he's
what the
getting up,
hell?
actually.
Oh,
All right,
he's
good
up.
for him, man.
No,
They
that
had
was
a
a different guy. That was
they had a lineman.
68.
That-
Oh,
Come on, this ball had to get in. This ball had to, that ball crossed. That ball crossed. That ball crossed.
yes. That
Dude,
is-
number 68, a lineman.
Oh.
That ball hit the goal line.
hit the line.
You can see the divot.
Touchdown.
That's a touchdown. That ball crossed. Boom. Man, if that's not a touchdown, that's going to be crazy.
Holy shit.
Week 10 starting off the way that Week 9 ended. Bad. If this game actually happens, Miami wins against Baltimore, I don't know what to do.
Dude,
I give up.
pissed.
Anyway,
Baltimore win last
we
week.
got to bounce, guys. Good luck in Week 10, and we will talk to you later.